Okay, let's talk a little about recording your guitar in the recording studio. The first thing you're going to need aside from your guitar is a guitar stand. Unlike live, where you put it on and leave it on until you're finished, in the studio you're going to be taking it on and off quite often, and you don't want to have it left on the floor where it might get damaged. Also, try to remember to have a guitar strap, guitar lead, and all the things that you need to create your sound. Guitarists often ask me about effects and which pedals they should use or not use in the recording studio. I usually like to start with your normal setup and we'll take it from there. Most guitar players have one guitar amp, and even if there's multiple speakers in the speaker box, that doesn't mean it's stereo, it's still mono, unless you have two guitar amps. So what that means is any pedals that you use before the guitar amp are going to be coming out mono, which is okay, but some effects sound better in stereo, like reverbs, choruses and delays, so you can do those in the studio afterwards. The main thing is to get your tone sounding good, and that's a combination of the guitar, the pickups, any pedals you're using including distortion, and the amp and its settings. If you are using a lot of pedals to get a certain sound, think about what sounds good coming through the amp in mono and then through the speaker, and what might be better done in the studio later in stereo with the outboard gear. Another thing to consider is multi-tracking the guitar, double tracking, triple tracking and more. Guitars can often benefit from double tracking. This can help to give you a much bigger, wider sound. Double tracking just simply means playing the same thing twice through on two different tracks and usually panning them left and right. One thing that can quickly bring a recording undone is tuning. Small tuning issues that might not seem a big deal initially, when you hear them over and over again, will become really annoying. If there are multiple guitar players in the band, everyone should be using the same brand and model of tuner, including the bass player, and tuning in between every take is important. If you can get your guitar in tune on some parts of the neck but not others, that means it has an intonation problem, and that means you should get it serviced before recording. And lastly, if you have a specific guitar sound in mind and you can't produce it with your equipment, talk to the engineer and show them an example. They may be able to help you get there with other gear that's in the studio, or maybe even hired from a backline hire. If your favourite guitarist uses a guitar or amp that you don't have, you might be able to hire one just for the recording session. And of course, you can also use guitar amp simulators, either hardware or software, to get different sounds as well.